Hello, I'm Gator McKlusky, not the idiot who pretends to be. But for now, let's let this moron pretend for a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Gator McKlusky.
Well, Gator McKlusky is sitting on a stump with the hammer pulled back on the 12-gauge pump, watching that swamp, looking out for the law. Well, it makes the best corn that you ever saw.
Hello, I'm Gator McKlusky. Thanks for joining me. Doing another live show. I haven't done one of these in a while. I apologize. Life gets in the way. But this was fun the last couple of times we did it, so I thought I'd jump on and say hello. A couple of interesting things to discuss, particularly in and around the world of Hooper. Looks like we got good old Nico in the chat here. How you doing, buddy? And our buddy TD. Good to see you. Thanks for joining the show. Very cool that we can do this and talk about, hopefully your hero and mine, late great Burt Reynolds. He's missed. You know, as you know, they don't make these movies the way they used to. I sound like an old man when I say that, I know. It's the truth. Certainly for me, Burt was one that always made me feel good when I watched his films. They never took him too seriously, and he didn't cover that many social issues and such. He knew how to have fun. And Hooper, to me, reeks of fun. To me, it touched on every aspect of Burt that I loved, from the side of him that we saw in Smokey and the Bandit, where he was the good old boy. But there are some dramatic elements in Hooper, you know, as he struggles with this aging stuntman who can't do this forever. You know, if he gets a fall and he hits a certain part of his head or neck, could end his life. And that's kind of how he started his career in television and film, was in stunts. You see these great photos coming by here. We're going to be joined shortly by the great Al Glasgow, who is my writing partner on the Burt Reynolds story. Anybody that follows my channel knows the Burt Reynolds story. It's certainly not all me. He is my go-to for research, for writing early scripts. And, you know, some of you folks out there have sent me boxes of VHS and all kinds of cool stuff to go through. And I just don't have time to do it. So my buddy Al goes through it all and finds all the little gems. That's something that I definitely want to touch on tonight for sure. I also wanted to mention that, you know, as I try to grow this thing, I'm not real good at promoting myself and such, but I do have this Patreon channel. Best way I can sort of describe it is it's a club that you can join where you support the show. I try to put stuff up here before anybody else gets to see it. These Siskel and Ebert pieces that I put up here, they went up, you know, before they went on my regular page. So I give the folks on Patreon a sneak peek at certain things. One of the things you're going to see here, and we'll discuss it tonight, I've had in my possession the deleted scenes from Hooper. There's over 20 minutes of deleted scenes, and it was recorded off of television. You know, a lot of times when stuff aired on television, they would add extra footage that was laying around to try to make it longer. This is an old TV guide, but if you look in here, you'll see it showed it was 2 hours and 30 minutes. Quite a runtime. Now, of course, there's commercials in there. Back in 1982, when you could see this TV guide was published, February 10th, 1982, close to Bert's birthday, they aired Hooper at 2 hours and 30 minutes. So some folks actually recorded this off air, and within it was deleted scenes, stuff that we had seen. Like we had always heard about that there was this fight between Ski and Burt. Here's an image of it, but we never saw the fight. Here's another image of it, probably just a candid on set. And this is the third image of it. But these were scenes that we had all kind of seen online. And we were always like, wow, you know. And there was another one that was kicking around of Ski, played by Jan Michael Vincent, and Sally Field in the kitchen having a conversation. And everybody had heard about, you know, seen these things. So it's like, oh, you know, would love to see these things. They must exist somewhere. Well, they did. They existed right here when this aired on February 10th, 1982 at 7:30 p.m. on a Wednesday. Like I said, I'm blessed to have had this. Now, I did put out a video highlighting all of the deleted scenes and how they're intercut into the film. So you can check that out on my channel. I believe at the end of the video, there'll be a page that you could jump to it. But I've gone through the tape since and actually found a few more scenes that I missed because I wanted to remaster it. Originally, I had just taken the VHS tape and I put it in a machine, and I was so excited. I recorded and got it out as soon as I could. But ultimately, I wanted to restore it and try to make it look and as close to that as possible. That meant a lot to me. And so I finally have gone through and done that, and it's quite better than I had originally had it. I'll show you some of that tonight. I do have all of those scenes that are remastered. If you're really interested, you join the Patreon and you can see the actual deleted scenes and how beautiful they look. Maybe one day they'll actually release a Blu-ray or whatever and include those deleted scenes. That's something that you all can check out. I think it'll be worth it, when you see it. We have here from Scott, I'm very new to your channel. This is awesome that you're keeping Bert's legacy in the public eye. I'm honored to do what I can. Anybody that knows me used to make fun of me for my obsession with Bert. Not to say that it's paying off, because I think I'm going broke by ordering things on eBay and such, which I'll show you a few things that I got my hands on. It's cool, and I'm blessed. And I've met a lot of great people too. A lot of people I hope to get more involved as I do more chapters, and perhaps ultimately go back and start redoing the early chapters, because I would have done the first chapter differently. You learn over the years and realize that, I wish I'd have done this a little bit more thoroughly. And, the big thing being, I've obtained so much material since I started the first chapter. I mean, Hooper's a perfect example. I'm really proud of my Hooper documentary, but it would be a lot longer now because I got all this cool stuff to show. Philip Thomas, Jan Michael Vincent played the next generation in The Mechanic, which probably led to him being considered in Hooper. Absolutely. His career got cut short, unfortunately, because of a horrific accident. Yeah, man, you gave me access to the Johnny Carson archive. And the problem with the stuff on the archive site is it's all masked with watermarks, and they tend to spike you with some sort of a penalty if you use it. So I have to be careful how much of Carson I use. The Fall Guy series probably wouldn't have been shot if Hooper wasn't as big as at the box office. If anyone saw the movie The Fall Guy that came out recently, I wish they would have done it more like Bert's movie. And I think it would have done better, because Hooper has a great story. It really does. And it's very dramatic, and it has so many levels to it. I honestly think that it's one of Bert's best films, and in a way, it's one of his most rewatchable films, because it has so many elements of it that are fun, exciting, heart-wrenching. I mean, everything about Hooper to me is fantastic. Great work. Looking forward to Breaking In being covered. Thank you for the super chat, Terrence. I really appreciate that. Yeah, Breaking In is going to be a good one. We've got a lot of great stuff, right? I mean, I apologize to you folks out there, and I know you've been waiting for future chapters, and these things are written. I've got hard drives filled to the brim with material. It's just on me. Life gets in the way. But when the next chapter comes out, I promise you every chapter is going to be better. That's just the way it's gone. I'm learning so much. I'm getting so much more material. Breaking In is going to be a great one, and it's one of my favorite Burt films. It's in that time of his life, it's probably the best film that he did post Sharky's Machine. Let's say. That's just my opinion. TD says he got into Landman recently, and I think Burt would have been really good in both Billy Bob Thornton and John Hamm's roles in his 50 and 6. I agree. I love the show. I've actually gotten obsessed with Taylor Sheridan or something like, because I had never seen Yellowstone. Oh man, am I glued to it. I'm only on the end of season 2. Had to turn it off. It got me too upset when Beth had something going on, and I was it just killed me. I had to turn it off, but I'm going to get back to it. I get emotional sometimes when I watch certain things that are done well. It's beyond any film I've seen recently. It's beyond so much. I find that series to be done better than most stuff. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it, but Landman is excellent. All right, Gator, you're the man for the Reynolds career knowledge. It's a good thing too, as these classics are also great time capsules. I totally agree. It's nice to go back and revisit all of these films. And I'm a classic 70s film buff, like I love how you could watch a movie. They didn't have to cut to different angles 500 times in a minute. They could just stay on a shot. You could feel the characters. You can absorb what's happening. And it's so much better. Occasionally they'll make a film that sort of, reminds me of those movies that were made in the 70s. Philip Thomas, I remember Burt doing stunts on the Carol Burnett show. He threw himself down the stairs in a dance routine. And if you ever saw him on the Dinah Shore show, there's that classic where he throws himself into the table. Probably shouldn't have done it, because over the years, the punishment that he withstood to his body just slowly deteriorated him and got him addicted to pills and all that other fun stuff. Yeah, his body took a beating. Kino Lorber's about to release a rare Burt film called Fade In on Blu-ray. Never seen the film. Look at here, we got the great Jake Asman. Let's go, Gator! Breaking In and Sharky's Machine are criminally underrated, to say the least. Johnny Boy, final scene of All Dogs to Heaven still gets to me. Burt did great work in that movie. He did. I'm looking forward to covering that one when we get up to that chapter. I really liked Rent-A-Cop. I got the Kino Lorber release, the one with him and Liza Minnelli is charming away. Yeah, I got it too. It's a beautiful transfer. They did a great job on it, but I haven't yet sat down to watch it. I probably won't watch it until I have to cover the documentary piece on it. Jerry Reed was a great actor. Burt was like Benny Hill recruiting the best gang around to back up his movies. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, one more here, then I'm going to play you some clips. I really wish Burt and Jerry did a Western. Man, I could talk forever about what Burt should have done or could have done late in his career. You know, guys like Clint Eastwood and Sean Connery, they aged gracefully, but Burt tried to hold on to his youth. I'm going to play you the Hooper trailer. And the reason I'm going to play this trailer, anyone that's not familiar with Hooper, you'll get a quick idea of what the movie's about. But this is also a trailer that it's just a cool, old school trailer that you would have seen in the theater back in 1978. So let's take a quick look.
Burt Reynolds is Hooper, the greatest stuntman alive.
He always is the bad guy who gets it in the end. He's out there stopping horses, holding on to train. You never want a gunfight, squabble or a brawl. For being such a loser, Hooper's really got it all.
This is Hooper, the story of the greatest stuntman of them all. He's the best in the business. And wherever Hooper goes, he makes at least one friend.
Yeah, Will. You can toss him, blast him, flip him and turn him, shoot him, hang him, bury and burn him. Chances are Hooper's back for more. No time for that. Run him out, cross the ground, take a truck, run him down. He ain't easy. He's up and gone. You can hit him, kick him, gently abuse him, set him on fire, will amuse him. Heaven knows he won't hold a grudge. He'll look you in the eye and tell you with a smile there ain't nothing like the life of a Hollywood stuntman. He'll look you in the eye and tell you with a smile
We may be in trouble.
there ain't nothing like the life of a Hollywood stuntman. He'll look you in the eye and tell you with a smile there ain't nothing like the life, nothing like the life. There ain't nothing like the life of a Hollywood stuntman.
Burt Reynolds is Hooper, the greatest stuntman alive.
I love stuntmen.
Man, that brings a smile to my face. There ain't nothing like the life of a Hollywood stuntman. Anyone that's seen that movie, particularly growing up on it, like folks like myself, there ain't no way that doesn't put a smile on your face. I got another video on my channel where I play the soundtrack album, and when it gets to that song, I just make a fool of myself dancing around.
He'll look you in the eye and tell you with a smile there ain't nothing like the life of a Hollywood stuntman, 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 stuntman.
I just think it's the coolest. And TD, I agree. Trailer looks good and clear. Yeah, it's a nice trailer. Again, something that should be on the DVD forever for us to see. Now that's entertainment. You're right there. I want to take another quick look at a video. Anybody that likes Bill Burr out there? Bill Burr is one of the greatest modern comedians that we have out there. And he recently touched on Hooper. It's fun to hear somebody honor Hooper and the great Burt Reynolds.
I was telling you guys, I watched the ending of Hooper. Spoiler alert, the guy he doesn't like apologizes to him and asks him to accept his apology. Burt turns around, looks right down the barrel of the camera, smiles at you as the audience member, and then punches the guy in the face and knocks him out. His friends all laugh. They all put their arms around each other, and they walk by the camera, and Burt looks right into the camera, gives the okay sign, and it freeze frames, and that's the end of the fucking movie. Now, I know that probably sounds like a shitty movie. You know, I'm not going to lie to you, a lot of it didn't age well, but, like, you got to understand what movies were before that. Like, nobody was that, I guess that was irreverent. I don't know what it was. It was fucking amazing, though. When I watched it, I was like, that's how they ended it? And we are fucking out of here.
And we are out of here. Oh, good for you, Bill. I love it when Burt gets some love from, especially fellas out there my age, what can I say? But when you hear, you know, whether it be a Joe Rogan, who I played, I think, on my last live show, said something about Burt. And, you know, a lot of these guys, we're all in and around the same age. And it just brings a smile to my face to know that there's some of us still out there that knows that there was a guy once. There was this guy. He wasn't James Bond. He wasn't Luke Skywalker. He was the Bandit. And if you grew up on the Bandit, you might not have needed a lightsaber. You could quote me on that. Gator's the GOAT, period. End of story. At least one person thinks that. Thank you, sir. So for Jake, This one's for you, pal. The next clip I'm going to show is football related. Mr. Jake Asman is host of the greatest football podcast on the entire YouTube channel. It's called The Jake Asman Show. If anyone gets to check it out at some point, I highly recommend it. The great Terry Bradshaw. I got to admit, when my team, the New York Jets, were eliminated like week 2 of the regular season, which is what typically happens, I would root for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the great Terry Bradshaw. And Terry has worked with Bert in 3 films, in Hooper, Cannonball Run, and Smokey and the Bandit 2. They became very good friends. He tells some really good stories here. This is a great little piece that I cut together, highlighting his comments about Bert. I hope you enjoy it. These are some really great stories about Terry's experience working with Bert, particularly on Hooper.
I got to do a scene with Jackie Gleason. Bert comes around at the Orange Bowl, and then here comes Jackie Gleason in that old jalopy car of his, and he's chasing Bert, obviously. And Bert says, "Hey, Turk, can you do me a favor? Can you stop, the car?" And I said, "Oh, sure." And I go, "Hey, Joe."
Yeah. Tackle that car.
So Joe tackles and turns Jackie Gleason over. But I was sitting in the car with Jackie. He had a gulp cup. Not kidding you. This huge gulp cup full of vodka. Wow. This is great. We were talking football and having a good time, and he's drinking it. Asked me if I'd like a sip. No, look, I double dated with Bert, stayed at his house, stayed at his dad's house, went to his theater in Jupiter. He and I became really good friends, and he really liked me, and I really liked him. And he was one of those guys who would call and say, "Hey, how you doing?" You didn't have to call them. You know how it is. It's kind of like he's a movie star and I'm just a football guy. So I have to always make the friendship connection. That wasn't Bert. Bert was always one call out of nowhere. I opened up my country music tour in Los Angeles, and I was singing at the Palomino Club. Remember the famous Palomino Club? Super Bowl was the week before. Burt Reynolds went on NBC that night and did a skit about my brains and how dumb I was and so on and so forth. Pittsburgh fans just annihilated him with letters and complaints and so on and so forth. And so I'm out in Los Angeles. He sends his agent, David Gershenson, who ended up being my manager for 43 years. He sends him out to the Palomino Club and has a giant horseshoe deal of carnations and a huge letter from him saying how deeply sorry he was. He didn't want to do the piece. He related to me a lot. He respected me and so on and so forth. Please accept this. And would you come to the shoot tomorrow? I'd like to meet you and give you a hug and tell you I'm sorry in person. I had a show in Albuquerque, New Mexico the following night. I had one day off for travel. And so David Gershenson, I said, "Yeah, I'll go." So David picked me up and drove me out on the highway, probably an hour or so out of town. And there Bert was filming Hooper, a stunt movie. And so I go out there and he comes out of his trailer and we pull up and he grabs me, kisses me on the cheek, and he tells me how much he loves me and he's sorry. And have you got a few minutes? You have to rush off. I said, "Well, I got to go catch a flight, to so-and-so, but no, I'm not rushing off." He said, "Hey, how about doing this movie Hooper?" And I said, Bert, I'm not an actor." He said, "Oh, I don't care. You don't have to. I want to make what I did to you up. I want you in this movie." So he calls Hal Needham, the director, over, and they get on the top of Bert's truck and they're going through the copy of the movie. Okay, where can we put him in? Where can we put it? Hey, here, right here. Let's make him a SWAT guy.
SWAT team. Are they going to SWAT flies?
And we're filming at the Palomino Club, believe it or not. It was actually in the parking lot, dressed up to look like the Palomino Club with nothing over top. And my first scene was to go over to the jukebox and I turn it off and I tell him, I go back to the teller, I forgot the lines I was supposed to use. So when I stood over at the table, I pushed him back and I threw some dialogue out like, "Hey, look, nobody messes." I just ad-libbed because I was embarrassed. I just ad-libbed and they never stopped it. They liked it. And I hit him on the head with a deal and we laughed. And he told me, first time I hit him, he said, no, hit me. I didn't want to hurt him. Bert. He said, "Yeah, it's already cracked. They stuck the helmet together. And if you watch it, you'll see the crack that's blowing." I said, "Bert, if I hit you hard, I might hurt you. You're not going to hurt me. Hit me." I said, "You want me to hit you?" I said, "I'm going to hit you." And in the movie, I went, bam. And that helmet... And there he hits the ground, and I'm in panic for him now because, my God, I thought maybe I knocked him out. That was my first scene with him.
You ain't ever gonna learn, are you, dummy?
We tore him up pretty good. He loved it. He had the time of his life, and he's really good. His athletic ability really saved his life a couple of times. You know? And one time he had to jump through a candy glass window and land on top of a bunch of boxes, and he got so excited he just completely missed everything. Landed in the street.
Yeah, he loved for me. I don't know why he always wanted me to go out dating with him. We'd go over to Donna Shore's house and she'd have dinner and she'd call me darling and darling. Sally Fields, I used to sit with her while she would crochet. And so I just became part of the family. His mom and dad were awesome. His brother was awesome. I kind of got into the family. Yeah, he was a great, great man.
I've always loved Terry Bradshaw, but you hear him talk so glowingly about Burt there and their time together. You could tell from the way Terry described it that Burt had done something and really felt remorse for. He did the right thing, and he chased after Terry and really to really understand that he had wronged him and bring him in. And how about that leap out the window? You think a football player would be allowed to do that today? This was the late 70s, and there were different rules, you know, in the off season or whatever. And this was right after the Super Bowl. Terry jumped out the window. Missed it. So he pretty much landed on the street. Watch that scene closely. That's Terry. That's no stuntman. This here is a clip that I stumbled across. This fellow was selling Burt's Hooper Trans Am, the red Trans Am. Danny Coker from Count Cool Rides. I saw this clip and I wanted to show it to you folks because it was Hooper related and you get to see his car.
Hey, Sonny, how you doing, my man?
What you're looking at right here is actually Burt Reynolds' personal Hooper Trans Am, currently registered in his name, signed up here on the hood scoop, says Burt Reynolds, Hooper.
Looks like one of King Kong's suppositories.
All the goodies in the back seat for the giant rocket. Comes out the back bumper, you know, runs the big giant rocket propelled for the big stunt at the end.
I'm gonna hit it.
This car is truly Burt's. This is really his Hooper Trans Am.
Bye-bye, nice officer.
Yeah, it was actually fun to watch guys drink and drive back then, something that they don't do in movies anymore. It's just a frown upon it, apparently. But back then, it was totally normal to see somebody driving with a Coors Light and a rocket car. I would like to bring on a man who I could not do the work that I've done without, the great Al Glasgow.
You do flatter me.
Oh, yeah, well, you deserve it. Can't thank you enough.
I've been making notes while people were commenting. Breaking in Sharky's been underrated. I don't know about in the States, but Sharky's machine is very well regarded in the UK. Breaking in, less so. Nobody talks about breaking in, which I think is criminally underrated. But Sharky's machine is well regarded in the UK.
Yeah, breaking in was kind of just a lost gem here. Only people that really loved and followed Burt really caught it, but it really did not find its audience. And it's a shame because I think it's the kind of film that if it were released today, as sort of like this independent film, it probably would have been like award winning. It just had that sort of simple, low budget feel to it.
But that did that for scale. Hittings for Bert's wages.
He probably got a few nice wigs out of it. It's just too bad that he didn't stick with those versions of the wigs. And
he wasn't going to stick with any of those while he wore him now.
If it was Tom Cruise and not Casey Simasio, massive hit. True. Also would have cost another, at the time, probably $5-10 million. In the UK, people don't know Gator well. I'm assuming you're talking about the movie Gator as opposed to me, the famous Gator from the States.
It's almost like Yellowstone and Taylor Sheridan and Kevin Costner. The only time I heard Costner mention Costner was when it came to the mid-90s, and he was saying, I didn't realize I had the power I had. Kevin Costner says the Indians will be played by Indians, and that's how it's happening. I didn't realize he had the power, so I never did it. And he said if he could go back and do it, he would do that. That's the only time I heard him mention Costner.
A classic example on the way to use power the right way is Costner, where you go and make Dances with Wolves. I guarantee you, however much Mr. Costner loves Indians, couldn't love them any more than I do. And I tried, but I didn't know how to do it. I'm not as smart as he is at that age. When I don't think I finally got it all figured out until I was 50, and by that time who cares? You know?
I think they would have been good together because I do like Kevin Costner. Less said about this last season of Yellowstone the better.
Do you think that Pedro Pascal resembles Bert?
Yes, I do believe he does. First time I seen Pedro Pascal was when he played the Red Viper in Game of Thrones. And I said to the girl I was seeing at the time, he is charismatic as fuck. When he's like a young Burt Reynolds, he's like late 70s, early 80s Burt. And she was like, yeah, you're giving him way too much credit there. And I was like, do you think? And since then, I've always kept an eye on him. You know, when he was in, was it a Kingsman movie? He had the cowboy hat on, a Stetson. I was like, yeah, you're channeling Burt. I know what you're doing. Somebody mentioned Kino Lorber Rent-A-Cot. I'm not going to lie, outside of Jerry Goldsmith's score, I'm not a fan. Burt Reynolds had some nice chemistry, but I don't really care for it, to be honest. You know, he was lighter than he was in Heat and Malone. You know, more of a jokey Burt, but it's not for me. All Dogs Go to Heaven. When somebody mentioned that, I was like, I'm not going to lie. That's the first movie that made my elder son cry. The ending destroyed him when he goes back to see her. I don't know the last time you've seen it. But when he goes back to talk to her, the last time, he can't go back.
Hey, listen, speaking of crying, I do want to talk about something that made me cry. And this is a bit of a sore subject for me.
The auction.
The auction. So there was recently a Burt Reynolds legacy auction online. This is actually the second of two that they did. I found out about it. I wish I'd have taken it more seriously, to be honest with you folks. Before the auction happened, which was on December 2nd. Okay, this happened about a week ago. I went through the list of things that they were selling. These are all items from the Burt Reynolds estate. And I was like, oh man, I can't wait for this auction because there's so much stuff in here that I really wanted to see. And there was one item that jumped out at me that I didn't care what it was going to cost. I had to have it. And the reason I had to have it was because I saw something in there that I could use on this channel in particularly. And of course, it's from a movie that is near and dear to my heart, Gator, the sequel to White Lightning, the film that, that I saw as a double feature with Smokey and the Bandit. My father took me to the drive-in to see Smokey and the Bandit, and it was a double feature, and Gator was the other picture on the bill. As I scroll through this list, I put a high bid on it, and I won it, which is amazing. Yeah, so there's so much great stuff on this site. The reason that this breaks my heart is that I had to miss the auction. I had a situation where something was going on. Thank God I put in a super high bid on the Gator stuff because I really, really wanted it. But the reason that I wanted this Gator stuff in the lot, they call these lots, there was a disc that I saw in the picture, and it was clearly a DVD-R, which if anybody knows what a DVD-R is basically a DVD, but it's a recordable DVD, which means it was something that wasn't released, okay? And written on that DVD-R were the words, Gator Outtakes. Now, there are no Gator Outtakes out there, and you can even see the winning bid was sold for $70, which it was a little bit more than that by the time I was done with it. So this is what I saw, okay? A bunch of cool stuff. I zeroed in on this disc here that said Gator Outtakes, and I was like, what is that? I had to know what it was because, like I said, there are no Gator Outtakes ever released on a DVD, released on YouTube. I've never, ever seen outtakes from Gator. So I got the package. What do I get? I get some Gator DVDs, no big deal. Very cool photo of Hal Needham, who won a world record for a speedboat jump in Gator, where he launches his boat. It's supposed to be Bert, but it's Hal Needham, of course. And a plaque specific to that, Gator McKlusky, a.k.a. Burt Reynolds, from his friends at Johnson Outboards and Cobra Boats, commemorating his world record power jump, 138 feet. Makes it out to be that it was Burt that did the jump, but it was Hal. Okay, so that was cool. Sorry about my dirty fingernails. Also, in the package, Gator soundtrack, 2 of them, okay? Sealed. These things are sealed. Record albums, unopened record albums. These were in Bert's possession, okay? Look at that. And a third, which is just a record album, this came with it too. This was a movie program. It's got all the information about the movie in it, photos, production notes, all stuff about the film. Look at this. Photos I'd never seen, okay? Some of these I have and some I haven't. Here's Bert with Lauren Hutton, the beautiful Lauren Hutton. There he is on the boat. That's actually Bert, not Hal Needham. I'm just going to zip through these because a lot of them I'm sure people have seen. This one I've never seen. It's actually not in the film. That's Lauren Hutton interviewing Bones. Now, that's probably a deleted scene that I haven't seen. There he is with Greenfield. This is that handsome son bitch. Of course, the great Jerry Reed, Bam McCall, Bert again. You folks are going to have to figure this one out with me. I don't know what this is. So, at first look, it looks like the actual poster for Gator, right? Well, look at the names at the top. Eddie Albert and Richard Keel. Well, Eddie Albert and Richard Keel were in The Longest Yard. They weren't in Gator, but there's Lauren Hutton, and there's Bert in his Gator pose. And as we go up, look at the title, Bulldozer. What? And look, that's a shot from The Longest Yard. So if I had to guess what I think this is, Alan, you can chime in too. I think that this was created before they got the film figured out. He tried to sell it, and maybe that was going to be the title. And then things started to slowly evolve. There's a couple more things. Got these big cards here. Here they are running from the house. There's Bert and Lauren Hutton. There they are running out of the hospital, I think. Another good shot. Look at that. Hal Needham. Bert didn't have a gun in that scene. There's Bert and Jerry. I don't even think that's Jerry. Maybe. There he is with his daughter. I believe I got all this stuff for $70. Is that insane or what? This one will be hard to see. The thought that this was probably hanging in Bert's home. I can't tell you how angry, upset, disappointed I am in myself for not chasing after more of this auction, because this stuff, man, there's a movie theater. Burt Reynolds is Gator. Come and get him. 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Rated PG. This is a movie theater shot. This is probably hanging in his house. Oh, man. There's somebody like me who has a very large piece of my heart dedicated to this man. Having that in my possession is just awesome. And then, of course, look what we have here, Gator Outtakes. Now, I can't tell you how excited I was when I threw this in, because it could have been nothing. It could have been nothing. But it was 5 minutes of some pretty awesome stuff. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it yet. I do want to give you just a quick sneak peek at it. I need to protect it for now until I decide what to do with it. It's something that, that ultimately I'm going to get it out there and get it seen. Here's how it opens. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I'll just play a little piece of the Gator bloopers.
This is your first line, dummy. Yes. I broke myself. Nice ass. Nice ass. Got it. Hey, wanna go dip your stick in some honey? Huh?
You happy, Dick?
I saw that is real sweet. I like it. And I cannot crunch a damn sugar. Keep crunching.
He's making me mad. Too strong.
I still think you're a sweet young man, but you are not escorting me anyplace. Oh, shit.
Would have liked to given you more, but not quite sure what I'm doing with it yet. I did want to give you a taste. That's some cool stuff. Like I said, I've never seen it. If anyone else has seen it, please let me know, but that was worth it. Worth every penny. What do you say, Al?
I loved them. When you sent me it, I was like, oh, I couldn't wait. I was like, I even replied when you sent me the link. I was like, I'm going to sit downstairs with a cup of tea and I'm going to watch it because I'm English. I sit with a cuppa and I'm going to watch it on the big screen. I'm not watching it on my phone. And there's one that wasn't included there that we both really liked.
I didn't give him the best shot. I'm leaning toward trying to decide, because there could be a Gator release out there. And there is a release that's coming out soon that I'll do a video on. There's a box set coming out that's going to have Gator, White Lightning, Hustle, and the documentary I Am Burt Reynolds. It's going to be in a box set, and it's coming out in February, I believe. And they interviewed me for it, so there's a nice extra on there where they speak to me and another fella who loves Burt.
Wayne Byrne.
Yeah, he's on it too. So we get to chat about Burt, and once I get to see it, I'll do a review of it on the channel, and we'll take a look at it together. We have that to look forward to. But unfortunately, I got these Gator outtakes after that thing was pressed. So getting back to this auction real quick, was there anything in here that you looked at and you're like, damn?
The striptease stuff really annoyed me because the deleted scenes, the alternative ending, that annoyed me. That went for like $12 or something.
There was no disc or anything in that pack.
No, it was just photos.
Yeah, here we go.
No, that's not. It's the next one. Because that was the book was signed by Cal Hyson there, wasn't it? It's the next one.
This one?
Where it's got, what's it? I forget his name.
Ving Rhames?
Clothesline and Bert stopping him running off. Yeah. I mean, that's a great pick, isn't it?
It is a great pick. Yeah.
Bert with all the girls. I really wanted them for, like, there's some great photos. I did look at that and I was like, oh.
I'm so effing mad. Look at some of this stuff. $14. Sam Whiskey, all this stuff. Look at this for $10. Are you kidding me?
The stick stuff, yeah.
Look at all the stick stuff. Oh, this just pisses me off the more I look at it. I get why some of the stuff went for a lot. Anything Smokey and the Bandit related, of course, like this, went for $170. I think there's a lot of hidden gems in here that the folks that were doing the auction didn't know that they had. In particular, the Gator outtakes. Like I said, if you have something original that nobody's seen, you're going to flip out. You know, here, Cannonball Run, just because it's Cannonball Run, you know, $150 for this lot, Cannonball 2, but the autographs are going to, they're valuable. This is an absolute crime, some of this stuff. Are you kidding me? $25, okay? Look at this. You're getting a Sharky's album. Look at this Sharky's mug. Are you kidding me? Look at that. Don't laugh. It's not funny. No, I'm mad. I'm going to cry. $12. $12. Look at this lot. I've never seen this poster. Have you ever seen this poster?
I have. It's actually in the folder on one of the clouds.
Okay. Oh, I love this movie. If anybody hasn't seen WW and the Dixie Dance Kings, I've remastered it and put it on the, it's probably my most watched video next to the Smokey and the Bandit documentary. It's probably going to surpass it. It's crushing. I just hope the right people see it and put it out the way it's supposed to be put out. You know, not my version. My version is shit compared to how it should be put out.
It's the best version out there.
Yes, but it's still shit. It's not widescreen, so it's not the right scope.
What would Bert say? If it looks like shit.
And it sounds like shit, then it must be shit.
There we go.
You were talking about breaking in before. $10.
That's a great, that's in the cloud as well. The first image you clicked on there, that review is in the cloud as well.
When Al speaks of the cloud, folks, that's all of our Burt archives that we use for the documentaries. We just pile it all in there. And I'm sorry, guys, I could go through this shit all day. This right here is a crime against the Burt Reynolds community. Here's the fact of the matter. People like me should have known better. A mass majority of the fan base probably did not know that this was happening. If they did, this stuff would have sold big. I actually hope that this is all wrong, that these dollar numbers are wrong. But even the Gator lot I got for $70, it was way undervalued. Way undervalued. Let me show you something in here that isn't even Burt related, that's worth a fortune. Okay? You ready for this? Look at this. $120. The Wizard of Oz. A 35mm film copy. Burt Reynolds' personal 35mm film copy of the original Wizard of Oz for $120. Are you kidding me?
And what's going on with Wicked at the moment?
$36. An original 35mm print of Apocalypse Now. $61. Dirty Harry. 35mm. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I'm just, this will kill me till the day I die. $76. How about this? This is Burt Reynolds' personal. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Could you imagine Burt sitting at this table, looking at Sharky's machine, and some random person paid $76 for it? I can't.
Stop torturing yourself, brother, which is what you're doing.
$25.
Is that Johnny Carson?
It is. I'm going to throw up. I'm sorry, guys. I can't look at it anymore. I cannot look at it anymore. Let me take a quick look at the chat before I puke. I'm going to put a link in the chat. Anybody wants to call in and talk, because I need to rest my vocal cords because I'm upset. Feel free to join the show. We'll bring you in. We'll chat it up, and we'll dump your ass out at some point when you get boring.
Not saying it's a shame it wasn't widely publicized. Honestly, I wouldn't have known about it unless you sent me the link.
Stop talking about it.
How about them Jets?
Fuck you.
You know the little boy who comes to convince Sonny to go to the stunt show? Do you know that was Sally Field's son, Peter?
I did not know that.
Peter Craig, I believe his name is. You know the boy who he shoots him. I'm dead.
I'm still dead.
TD says you have to be so charming to pull off what Burt did in The Longest Yard. Paul Newman maybe could have done a version of Smokey, but no other actor is pulling off Burt in The Longest Yard. True.
Well, you said I could do this role Redford done, I could do this role Newman done, I could do this role De Niro done. Could they do Smokey and the Bandit or Cannonball Run?
Burt was an original. There was no other Burt. You know, TD, that's a great point. I totally forgot that Jerry Reed said nice ass in 2 straight movies. You got it, pal. Did you realize that?
Yeah, Gator and Smokey.
Well, I know it now, but I never really gave it much thought. I mean, the one in Smokey is, I think, more iconic.
Nice ass. Yeah.
You forget the one in Gator is just awesome, too.
Nice ass.
I always thought it was ad-libbed, because you know much of Smokey was ad-libbed.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. You think Hal Needham wrote that in the script?
No.
I don't think so.
Nice ass.
We're going to bring in this fella here, Lipford Spangler.
Hey, Gator, can you hear me?
I can hear you, buddy. What's going on today?
Nothing. I apologize for my grandson set this up, and I can't even turn the darn camera around. So I apologize if you can't see me. You're probably looking at my back deck right now, I imagine.
Wi-Fi's not great, but we can hear you.
Can he hear me? Corey, can he hear me still? I have time to tell him about Burt.
My brain is just turning to shit.
You got any Burt stories? You got a Burt point?
Oh, yeah. Gator, can you hear me all right?
I can hear you terrific, Lipford.
Oh, okay.
Is that how you say it? Is that how you say it, Lipford?
Lipford Spangler, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, you know, I'm living in Florida, and I tell you what, Burt Reynolds almost broke up my darn marriage. You know, he's from Florida.
No shit.
I was down there. We lived nearby, and he had a little playhouse down there. I don't know if you know about that.
No, tell us about it.
There was a theater that he had down there, and they would do he would do plays and stuff or sponsor him. I don't know what he would do.
That's ridiculous.
She loved Burt Reynolds. We went down there. I remember they were doing a promotion for the movie Heat. Did you ever see that movie with him called Heat?
Sure did.
They had showed the movie, and we went down there, and he was signing autographs. We stood in line. We talked to him. He was a very nice man. Turns out when we got up there, my wife pulled out of her purse one of the magazines that he had been in, and she unfolded it, and this man was darn near naked.
Cosmopolitan.
I think it was called Playgirl. She gave it to him, and he signed it for her. He gave her a big old kiss on the cheek, and I'll tell you what, that almost broke my marriage up. Me and her went round and round over that. A few weeks later, I actually pulled that magazine, and I opened it up, and it said, "To beds with love from Burt." That's the first time I had ever seen that photo, and I would never admit this to my wife. And there ain't a gay bone in my body, I'll tell you what. But that is a damn good-looking man.
No shit.
There ain't a gay bone in my body. You can tell that's a darn good-looking man, and I can understand why my wife, had the feelings she did for him.
Well, that's a interesting story, Lipford.
Well, she passed away about 12 years ago. Still, I got that magazine around here somewhere. One of my grandkids pulled it out, was looking at it and looking at all the stuff that she had, but she had a whole bunch of Burt Reynolds stuff. She loved Sally Field. She, oh Lord, she had Jerry Reed albums and all kinds of stuff.
I'm sorry to hear that she passed, and hopefully you've been able to pull your life together and move on from that time period.
Yep. But I just want to, I wanted to tell you about our experience meeting Burt and how he darn near wrecked my marriage.
Right on. I'm sure he had a few wives out there interested in leaving their men because that was who he was, man.
I tried to grow my mustache out like Burt, but man, it didn't work. It was all patchy. I looked like a clown. Boy, she sure did love that man.
Yeah, he's a good-looking man.
All right, Gator, well, I appreciate the show, and thanks for talking to me, and y'all have a great night.
You too, Lipford. Thanks. Be sure to call in next time.
I surely will. Take care.
That was a little shocking.
He won't be the only man whose wife was, addicted by Burt.
I appreciate all the love in the chat. You guys are great. I would like to give you all a little look at some of the remastered stuff that I did for the deleted scenes for Hooper so that you have an idea of what you might expect when I can finally put this on the channel. Like I said, it's currently available on the Patreon page. So if you are interested, there's the information for the Patreon page. Be sure to sign up and you can see all the deleted scenes there. But I think of all the scenes, the one that I wouldn't mind playing. Yeah, let's do the ski fight. I think that's the most iconic one from this piece because you got to remember this seemed to be something that could have been pivotal for the film, but they cut it out, and we could discuss after. But I think the reason they probably cut it out is Al, I think, as you agree, is that the choreography for it wasn't all that good. Maybe that's why they decided not to use it. This is a deleted scene, remastered from Hooper.
Here's a really cool fight between Sonny and Ski. Not really choreographed that well, but it's great to see, and I could see why this didn't make the final cut of the film.
Hello, Ski.
I just talked to Max.
Oh, yeah?
He told me Roger wanted me to do the stunt by myself, but you said I wasn't qualified.
Well, that's right. You ain't qualified. I'm sorry, but you ain't. Of course, you got any complaints, you can take them to the Warner Brothers complaint department. Because I don't work here anymore.
What the hell right do you got to tell anybody I'm not qualified?
About 21 years of experience, and you don't know diddly spit about rocket engines.
When it comes time to do that stunt, I'll know more about rockets than you ever knew.
Oh, yeah? Well, where are you going to learn it? The pocket calculator of yours?
I'm not done.
I'm done talking to you. Just bit off more than you can chew, sonny boy.
What's the matter? Are you hurt?
Yeah. But don't you take any trophies for it, because you didn't do it.
You couldn't do that stunt even if you wanted to. Why the hell you want to keep me from doing it?
Because you ain't ready.
The hell I ain't.
Come on back, I ain't through fighting yet. Come on back here, you little turkey. I'm not through fighting yet. Come on back and help me up. Come on. Oh, fudge.
Oh, fudge.
Obviously, this aired on television. As you have to remember, back then, they pretty much chopped every bad word out of everything. Unfortunately, even though we're getting these deleted scenes, we're not getting them with the original dialogue. He probably said the F word there, I would imagine, right?
Yeah.
Who says fudge? That's definitely a TV version thing. So you can see why they didn't use it. It didn't look like there was a lot of effort put into the sound effects and the editing and all. They probably, once they saw the footage, decided they weren't going to use it. It would be my guess. But it's good stuff. It's awesome to see. Now, one thing I wanted to show you, another item that I picked up on eBay, this little film slide here. So this is from Warner Brothers, you can see. If I take it and put it into a little slide player here, I don't know if you can see that, but it's a film slide from that cut clip. And here it is here. So it's another little item that I picked up on eBay. It was a slide from that fight, which is, I think it's pretty cool, right? I just wanted to say thanks for the cleaned up WW and the Dixie Dance Kings you posted. I just picked up the novel version of it off eBay. Have either of you read it? I have not.
I don't think I've ever read it, but I've got it. Scott said his daughter wants to know where I got my t-shirt from. I've got it from a place called Burt Shirt, which was when they were doing The Last Movie Star. I've got it in red as well.
Nice. This Burt stuff is cherished. Another super chat here from Philip. Thank you, Philip, for donating to the show. I much appreciate it. Burt had great chemistry with Carl Weathers. Would like to have seen them other movies. Yeah, Carl Weathers was in Semi-Tough with Burt.
Next time you're laying some chicken, you just place the thing on the bed.
Great scene.
A brief scene, but they did have good chemistry.
Is that for two? You won't never have energy like that, Jack.
May he rest in peace. Oh, it's worth mentioning for everyone that Peacock just made all of Burt's Gunsmoke seasons available on there. Thanks for that, TD. Seasons 8 to 10. So if you go on Peacock, you look up Gunsmoke, and you watch seasons 8 to 10, you can see the great Burt Reynolds.
The reason Tarantino is named Quentin.
All right, so we're going to wrap up here. I want to thank everybody for joining. Thank you, Al, for staying up late. And I appreciate everybody chiming in and contributing here in the chat. We'll do this again if you like. Let us know if this is something you want more of. We can do more of. I just like to come in with something for you. Hopefully you were able to enjoy some clips. Leave something in the chat for me or in the comments for the video. If you want more of these, I'll do more of them. They're fun, and I love talking Burt as much as I possibly can, and I'll try to come in with something unique and fun for you to watch each time. TD's he's one of the good guys from the Patreon, and we appreciate him and everything that he brings. A lot of love coming from us in the chat. I thank you all. And Al, you are my brother, and I appreciate all the work you do to help support Bert's legacy and keep his name alive. Thank you, brother. I love you, man.
Appreciate it. Love you too.
Good night, folks. For now, Gator out.
Looks like the only thing left to say is goodbye once again. And I can't help but wonder, why did we wait so long to do it all, my friend? 'Cause the days turn to weeks, the weeks turn to months, and the years fly by like they do. But I believe that we're destined to meet someplace, so I was looking out for you. Yes, I believe that we're destined to meet someplace, so I was looking out for you. Well, a wise man once said that all good things must come to an end. As I pack my bags, I can't help thinking this is what he meant. We had a whole lot of fun, and we told a lot of stories, maybe not all of them true. But I believe that we're destined to meet someplace, so I'll be waiting there for you. Yes, I believe that we're destined to meet someplace, so I'll be waiting there for you.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to get notified about new videos and original Burt Reynolds content right here on the Gator McKlusky channel.